Hello and welcome to the Select Board meeting for December 16th. Thank you for joining us if you're watching either via WACA-TV or the live feed on Facebook. It is the middle of December. We don't always have a meeting, but we have a few items that we needed to take care of before we could break away for the holiday. So welcome all. I'm going to open it up to citizens' participation to start. If anyone would like to make a comment or talk to us. Mark, go ahead and unmute yourself and then you can let
Okay,
us know what you're thinking.
good evening. I was just thinking the calm before the storm, what's going to be going on. I would like to wish everybody happy holidays before and after, and the good new year coming up. I'm fully vaccinated and happy and not virus, so I'm a happy camper. My dad's doing well. Everything else in the family's here doing good. Hope the town is to select board chairman and town management. And everything else is doing well. I see I scared Robert Scherer away. That's okay.
Happy holidays, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Happy holidays to you.
Thanks, Mark.
And what is on the mind is I've been following our school system and what's going on, and I know we're in the red zone now. And I'm just wondering if there's any other than last week's from the school committee, anything from the town management that can be said. I know there's no Ed here yet, but I'm just wondering through the town management if what can be said through the voices here. That's it. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Mark. Same to you and your dad.
Happy holidays.
Okay.
Happy holidays, Mark.
Okay, we're going to go right into old and new business. Executive agreement with Framingham State regarding 433 Chestnut Street.
Okay, thank you. This is in relation to the Hall House, again, 433 Chestnut Street. We had a warrant article at the last town meeting on December 9th that authorized the select board to essentially change property lines, which would also remove an easement that is currently on the Hall House property, which is ours. We need to do this to, again, we need to execute this agreement, get that filed, get that swap in place, and then subsequent to that, we would need to develop a purchase and sale with Paul Gustafson, who was the winning, who provided the successful proposal to renovate the property and return it back to the tax rolls. So I hope everybody had a chance to review the agreement. Again, this is between, I do say in the agenda, Framingham State University, but technically it's the Massachusetts State College Building Authority. I think it pretty much speaks for itself. A lot of these items that you have seen here, they have actually been completed, including putting together the A&R plan, executing the A&R plan, receiving the scenic road permit, providing a paved surface from Chestnut Street to the barn, and the engineering and survey work. We do need to go back and we do need to complete, or we do need to, I think fix is probably the best word, some of the work that was done on the driveway. Framingham State is okay to go ahead and execute this agreement pending that. That language is not reflected here yet. So what I'm looking for is the board's authorization to go ahead and execute that change, with that addition, I should say.
Okay. Any questions on the agreement that was in our packet?
Pretty straightforward.
Yep. And if no questions, if I can get a motion to approve the agreement that has been presented with its amendments.
So a move to approve and authorize the agreement as presented and authorize Michael to sign on behalf of the town.
Second.
Second, great. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Joe. Roll call vote. Kinsman.
Aye.
Mignani.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Scheer.
Aye.
And Greaves, aye. That passes 5-0. Thank you, Michael, for bringing that forward to us.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, review of the December 9th special town meeting.
Well, a week removed from our special town meeting, the second one that we've done in what I'll call the COVID era. We had about 87 people attend. Again, want to thank everybody who participated in the planning and execution of the town meeting and the production. This was not an easy one to do, and I think I can speak fairly for Adam when in saying that it wasn't an easy decision for him to make in terms of how to hold this town meeting. But I do think that for the most part, everybody that I have spoken with since then felt relatively safe. I did check with Sergeant Berman. It doesn't look like we've had any transmissions
Oh, that's good.
that can be, centered to that town meeting. Although it is relatively early, it's just 7 days beyond that. We are keeping a close eye on that. For those of you who did not know, every seat was marked, and so we had the contact information for every person who was sitting in every seat. So if a transmission did happen, we had the ability to track down those close contacts surrounding that seat in relatively short order and give them quarantine instructions as well. I will say there was one faux pas on my part. I should have had my mask on the whole time as opposed to just having it on and then taking it off to speak. I think received some criticism for that. I think that is very well deserved. I will do better next time. But other than that, I think, again, everybody felt relatively safe. The warrant articles all passed. There was very little discussion. I think the town made a pretty good case, not just at town meeting, but before town meeting, and why some of these were important. Hopefully some information was clarified, and hopefully some misinformation was clarified in terms of why we had to have that town meeting, which was we had to actually get some things done before Friday, this past Friday, in order to set the tax rate. We did not have an option to push it out. Unfortunately, under Massachusetts state law, there's some things that we have to do statutorily, and the only way we can do those things statutorily as a town is through our legislative body, which is town meeting, which is an open town meeting. I think everybody would agree if we had the ability to do that, if I had the ability to do that, or the authority, or if the select board had the authority to do that, we would have done that as opposed to having a town meeting, but that was not the case.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it went well. I think the people that were there and participated, I too think that everyone who spoke should have been asked to keep their mask on. I think the microphones picked up enough that it would have worked even with the masks on. And the other thing, I think it worked out, but I think having the UPC, the code for people to scan for the warrant should have been a little more. I mean, I know everyone got it, but it felt like a lot of scurrying around to get that to people. Though, so for me, that was those were the two things that I think. It's nice to hear that as of right now, we have not had any cases traced back to that. I'd like to make sure we keep monitoring that over the next week and a half to make sure that that continues. So, and I think I want to thank everyone who attended. To have 87 people there, I think was a good thing. And I was actually surprised at how little some of the discussion was. I think to your point, Michael, we did get a lot of information out beforehand. So I guess the one thing I think that was not made 100% clear was with the 2 CPC articles, specifically for the trail, that we needed to get that passed so that we could start doing work so that we didn't lose the grant money. I don't know that that was made 100% clear to people watching. So. Steve, I saw your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I agree with the comments about the masking, certainly, and we can certainly do better next time. I just wanted to point out that, there's a reason why town meeting is exempt from the governor's general orders for gathering. Town meeting is not social gathering. It was a very controlled environment, as controlled, I think, as we could possibly make it. It's the business of the government, regardless of the level, still needs to proceed. And, I think it's, I do want to commend, I think Adam, the moderator, puts, obviously agonizes, puts a lot of thought into this. And his overriding concern, of course, is safety for the participants. So, I just want to thank him for that.
Yep. Great.
I just
Rob?
just add to, sure. First of all, Michael, I don't think it was a faux pas that you that you spoke without a mask. The moderator clearly said that people speaking could take their masks off. So I think it is. I agree with Yolanda and Steve and the whole mask thing. So I think it's important that the moderator clearly state at the beginning that you should leave your mask on even when speaking. And just to make that clear, I think that was the main thing I would say. Also, the high point of the meeting for me was when the Fafford attorney finished and Joe did not get up to say anything. I appreciated that very much. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
To go to the point of certain things needed to be said and other things didn't need to be said. So that was very good. But I certainly appreciate that. And Michael, I just had a question on the tracking and the tracing. So there was at least one person there later had to quarantine because of exposure. And I would presume that if there was any issue there, I would have heard, or the people involved would have heard by now. Is that?
That is correct. So that person must be quarantining based on being a close contact to somebody other than, it did not happen at town meeting.
Right. And have those people been tested though since then? That was my understanding. People are going to be tested. So I presume we would have been contacted if there was any kind of positive test.
I do not have that answer, Rob, in terms of how many people have been tested.
Yeah. Well, no, this is very specific situation, which I don't want to get into details, but there were specific people that were going to be tested. And I just want to know if there was if they were positive that, presumably people would be contacted.
If people were positive, yes, they would be contacted, and their close contacts would be positive.
Maybe confirm that with Ed. Okay, great. So I was there and I thought that went very well. And other than the mask thing and some lessons for our next meeting, whenever that is, which I presume we'll talk about at some point tonight. I'm not sure, but.
Okay. Anything else, Brandy?
So I just, so I would agree. I would have felt more comfortable if everyone had been wearing masks the entire time. I was a little surprised that the moderator allowed that, which, it seems, the microphones were cleaned off in between speakers and we were taking the precautions necessary. But I think, I agree. I would hope that maybe as a lesson learned for the next town meeting, that's something that we can change going forward. But the volunteers did a great job seating people and writing seat numbers on each individual ticket as they were checking people in. The individual desks were good because it really did force social distancing, which was good. I think for the next town meeting, obviously we're going to have a little bit of a different approach because bigger initiatives, more people. So we're going to have to, that will be something that we will need to people within the gym, people in overflow areas, and how we're going to line people up for speaking at the microphones and things like that. So, but I think the moderator did a great job, putting together a safe town meeting, and to have 87 people, it was great. And the gym's big enough that I didn't feel at any point in time that there was a lot of people there. So I didn't feel like there was not a crowd per se. So,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but just that reminded one minor thing. I think there should be more space around the speakers areas, actually. Then that microphone was right close to a number of desks. I think it was basically 6 feet or maybe even less. So I think one of the things high traffic areas should get a little more space. I would think.
I would agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think we could add another row. I think there was space to add another row at the back of the gym in regards to the 6 feet. So, okay. Anything else about town meeting? The one that we had already? If not, we're going to move on to our next item. The Mass Department of Agricultural Resources, Charles Nickerson 120-day notice. So we thought we had done what we needed to here, and then we were sent something else. They actually need us to read, if I believe I have this correct, Michael, the whole letter.
So
Or just the confirmation notice.
So Yolanda, it is it's on page 2 of 4.
Okay.
It's titled "The Notice of Proposed Acquisition."
Okay.
And yes, it's not as lengthy as a bond issuance, but
So we need to read this whole thing and then approve it again. So I will go quickly. In compliance with General Law, Chapter 7C, Section 37, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, acting by and through its Department of Agricultural Resources, the department hereby gives notice that it proposes to acquire an agricultural preservation restriction on the real property identified herein for the purpose of protecting in perpetuity its superior and productive agricultural resources by preventing their conversions to other uses. The application received by MDAR indicates that the property is owned by Charles R. Nickerson and consists of parcels located at Highland Street and South Street as approximately represented on the attached map. The APR may encompass all or parts of the area shown. The current use of the property is primarily for vegetables and orchards. Following the recording of the APR, the use of the subject property is limited to agricultural use, as more particularly set forth in the APR document, the General Laws, Chapter 184, Sections 31, and the regulations of the Department, 33 CMR 22 at Esquire. Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources by Ashley D. Davis. So.
Right. And then,
so now we've read it.
Yes. And then, so then we need to ask the board to revote, which is the consent to reduction notice period, which is
okay. Page 4 of 4.
Correct.
Right. So we authorized to reduce it to 60 days instead of the 120. So if I can get a motion to, as authorized by the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 7C, Section 37, the undersigned and duly authorized representative of the town of Ashland do hereby consent to a reduction of the 120-day notice period prescribed for the announcement at a public meeting on the Commonwealth's proposal acquisition of an agricultural preservation restriction referenced above to not less than 60 days.
So moved.
If I can get a second. Great. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Joe. We'll do a roll call vote. Kinsman,
aye.
Mignani,
Aye.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Scher,
Aye.
and Greaves, aye. So we've taken that vote. It does require all of our signatures. So we will have Susan have that at Town Hall. Obviously not tomorrow, but hopefully Friday. People can get in and get this signed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Who knew it would be so difficult?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to our consent agenda. Accept the resignation of Judy Teller from the position on the Board of Health with thanks for her service. Accept the donations in memory of Evelyn Gates in the amount of $300. Approve the grant application for a sign and facade for Main Street Wine and Spirits in the amount of $804.61. Appoint Kevin Mullins to fill the vacancy on the Sustainability Committee with a term that would expire on 8/31/23, and appoint Margaret Musok as an associate member with a term that would expire on 8/31/21. Can I get a motion?
Motion is presented to accept the consent agenda.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Joe. Kinsman,
Aye.
Mignani,
Aye.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Shear,
Aye.
and Greaves, aye. And our consent agenda passes.
I would just thank those folks for stepping up and thank Judy for her,
Yep.
her effort.
Yep. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you. Moving on to town manager report.
Well, I believe we were going to spend a little bit of time actually talking about some of the COVID information that we do have right now. We did cover town meeting, and I was able to say at that point in time that so far we've had no transmissions traced back to that. Our numbers are still elevated, but from my last report with Ed, this seemed to have stabilized a bit at an elevated level. Of course, we are going into the holiday season, and it'll be interesting to see if people have learned from Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving holiday and learned how to do things maybe a little bit better. And hopefully we won't see as much of a spike after this holiday as we did with the Thanksgiving holiday. Unfortunately, because of that spike, we've had a number of changes in the schools. Several of our schools have gone to remote only. A number of different factors involved in that. I think a lot of it related to staffing issues, and I do know Paul Kendall, I believe, is on. He still is. So if I say anything incorrectly, I'm sure he'll jump in and correct me. But obviously, the superintendent and the school committee are reviewing data on an ongoing basis, a regular basis, and making decisions, very tough decisions, in the best interest of the entire district. And it's certainly a no-win situation. So I do want to acknowledge that and acknowledge the fact that for everybody who is out there and who has kids in the system, working families, et cetera, it's a no-win situation for you as well. I think the biggest news regarding COVID that has happened since we had our last meeting was the fact that Governor Baker has issued a rollout plan for vaccination, which is very, very exciting. I can say that vaccines have already gone to many of the hospitals, if not all of the hospitals in the state, and healthcare workers are starting to get vaccinated. I know of several who have been vaccinated already, and so that's a good sign. I believe the next step after healthcare workers and first responders, the next population that will be vaccinated will be some of our older residents and those with comorbidities. And then I believe the plan is to have everybody vaccinated by the summer, which everybody knows that I've been, since the very beginning of this, I've said everything has hinged on a vaccine. And us returning to normal has hinged on a vaccine. The economy returning back to normal has hinged on a vaccine. Our lives kind of returning back to normal has hinged on a vaccine. So it is very, very hopeful that, I'm very encouraged by the fact that we actually have a plan coming out on how to do that. So that being said, vaccination is not, it's an intermediate plan, depending on what you think in terms of the timeframes. It could be a long-term plan. We do have town meeting and an election that we have to address and talk about before everybody does get vaccinated. Currently, we have a town meeting that is scheduled for January 9th, and that's a Wednesday. We also have an election that is scheduled for January 13th. Both of those are dedicated to the two major building projects here in town, one being the public safety building, the other being the Mendez School. I think looking at the spike that happened after Thanksgiving, understanding that we might see something very, very similar emerge from the Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year, this holiday season, it is prudent to look at moving out that date from January, both of those dates actually from January 9th. And I would propose looking at January 23rd to reschedule town meeting to, and then also look at rescheduling the town election to the following Wednesday, which I believe is the 27th. It gives us an opportunity to kind of, if there is any kind of surge, and if there are any, massive quarantines that need to happen based on that surge that ends up after the holidays, it allows that to subside, gives us a little bit better idea of the numbers, and it seems to make sense all the way around. So anyway.
Any questions on those change of dates from anybody?
Seems reasonable. I don't know. I presume you guys have reviewed the building schedules and all that, and I guess it is what it is. So, so it seems advisable.
Okay.
I had a question about voting procedures for the municipal election. We talked briefly about being able to do absentee voting, but not early voting. Is that correct? Pretty much, or?
That is correct, but absentee voting is a valid option here for many people who are concerned about COVID. So you can request an absentee ballot for several reasons. One of them is a disability. Under guidance from the Secretary of State's office that was effective throughout 2020, concerns about COVID and COVID-related precautions were classified as a disability for elections. We've since received word from the Secretary of State's office that is being extended into 2021, at least for the purposes of our election. So if you do have a concern about coming to the polls and voting, you can request an absentee ballot, and you'll be able to vote that way.
Very good. Thank you. That seems like a good alternative for people who are concerned. So it's good. And how do people, is it just, you just need to make, how do you get an absentee ballot just for folks? Is there an easy way, contactless way to do it, or?
Well, you can go to the website and search for absentee ballot application, and that'll bring you to the application. You send that to the town clerk. Otherwise, you can call the town clerk's office and request one, and they would be happy to help you out.
Okay, so it keeps it simple.
Michael, is there a way to put let's say on the front page, put a link or a button for an absentee ballot rather than have residents need to search for it?
There is, I would like to have a plan, just a holistic plan. When we talk about this more fully on Monday, when the board actually calls the election, so that we can help roll it out. And again,
We'll do that Monday. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so you'll have more details. You'll have worked with Tara and to see what we can do to make sure that we can get this information out to people and make it accessible and easily accessible for them on Monday.
Exactly.
Right.
Great.
I do just, Rob, and I could, you made a good point. You brought it up kind of indirectly, in terms of, obviously if we could push it out even further, it would make sense, right? And I think everybody agrees with that. The problem is that we really do not want to lose some of the opportunities that we do have. So with regards to the public safety building, the GC bids are now going to be due on Tuesday, right, Jen? They did change from tomorrow to Tuesday.
Because of the storm.
Yeah, no, because it's electronic from Friday to Tuesday. We're just clearing up. There was a couple questions that came in from prospective bidders, so just to give them a couple days.
So if the GC bids come in like the subcontractor bids came in earlier, we are expecting to see a significant savings over what we estimated.
Cool.
We did see a savings of about 10% or $1 million on the subfile bids. Hopefully that carries through with the general contractors as well. And rates are just uncharacteristically low. So it's a great opportunity to kind of lock in savings for the long term. We can do some things to help address the cost impact to taxpayers in the short term. There's some things that we can do, but we won't have another chance, I think, to lock in this type of long-term financial impact again. The Mendez School is also driven by cost concerns, cost escalation concerns. The MSBA process is a factor in the timeline as well. In addition, the schools would like to open this up a certain year. And if we just move it a couple of months beyond January, we actually have to, just because of the sequencing, we'll have to delay opening another year. So,
Or try to do it in the middle of the year like they did with the high school, and that was difficult.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that one, thankfully, but
Yeah,
that
was
was careful. So anyway, that's the
Okay.
rationale for going ahead and holding it in January. Again, by pushing both dates out, the election and town meeting, hopefully we can address some of the concerns that have been expressed by a lot of people.
Yeah,
Right.
great.
I think that there's a good possibility that the schools may stay remote through Martin Luther King weekend. So, you know, with those dates, those new dates, I think it makes sense to align with that. So,
Joe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Michael and Jen, I thought the 18th was a Friday when the GCs were supposed to have their bids in, but you said something about an electrical.
No, there was a quantity question. So one of the prospective bidders just had a quantity question. It's really for the bid specs.
Oh,
So HKT and Vertex were working to clarify that, and you have to answer and provide enough time for people to refine their bids if necessary.
bids.
So they moved it out just a couple days. To
okay.
Tuesday.
So it's going to be Monday. It'll be
Tuesday. Yeah,
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Same time, 1 o'clock. Okay. See you then.
Any other questions or comments? So just so I can clarify, Michael, so now we're looking at a potential Saturday town meeting for Saturday, January 23rd, and there's still some details that need to be worked out with that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then a town election on Wednesday, January 27th, with absentee ballots available for those that don't want to come in due to COVID
That's correct.
disability. Okay, and we'll have more information on that when we meet on Monday at 1 o'clock.
Correct.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else on the town manager report? No?
Happy snow day.
There's no such thing as a snow day now with virtual school.
Well, the interesting
for
thing is
adults.
half the districts are having some sort of snow day, apparently.
Oh, really?
I was talking more about the adults, Rob.
Yes,
Oh.
yes, I think you're right there.
Okay. Michael, if you have nothing else, we will go to board reports. We'll mix it up. Joe, why don't you start?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I did it, well, you saw me, I was sitting right next to the microphone at the town meeting. I thought it went very well. Don't mind getting stuff thrown at me, that's okay, I'm used to that. And which is one reason why I didn't stand up to speak, Rob. I'm used to it by now. You know,
Well.
doing this for quite some time, so you know when to speak and when not to speak at this stage of the game. You know, it's like married life.
Certainly appreciate that.
Right.
Good work.
You notice how none of the ladies they just kept quiet. They didn't say anything. But I would like to thank the Ashland Fire Department and the Ashland Police Department on Friday. There was a venture that went through town that brought a lot of smiles and a lot of happiness throughout our community. And Santa was escorted through and around all the neighborhoods in town. We did not realize that this excursion was going to be a 6-hour excursion that traveled 80 miles in 6 hours. It was quite the feat. And needless to say, you could tell by all the faces and the excitement that was generated by this event that this is not going to be a one-time only event, but I would assume that this will be an every year event, and hopefully it will make it a 2-day event to break up the north and south of the town, so that way we don't spend 6 hours and freeze as much as it was. Even though it was a nice day, as soon as that sun went down, it got quite cool. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the folks that were involved that made this happen. And I just wanted to thank all the residents that came out and for that brief moment, time had stopped and it was like there was no COVID. And everybody had smiles on their faces. Everybody was jumping up and down. A lot of parents came running out of the house in their pajamas and their slippers. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. So Rob, you know, I know you were a little concerned about all the sirens and stuff,
Yeah,
and I understand that. But that was just the warning that Santa was on his way, and that everything, you know, best be out there or else you're gonna miss him.
right. Yeah.
So I have an inside track, and I know what all you folks want. Santa gave me the list of all the different things that my board members are looking for and what the town's looking for. And the first one, most of all, was to have a healthy and happy holiday season with all your family members. That was the first one. So thank you all for that. I appreciate that. Michael's still looking for state monies to come in a lot higher than they anticipated, and possibly we'll get another $20 to $25 million donated to us. That would be nice. Brandy's looking to, you know, do more marshmallow cookies, which is fine. I'm all for that. And I just want to thank everybody. It was quite a bit of fun. I know that Sue was she was very involved in leading this parade through town, and I want to thank her and Chief Colby for that, and Chief Alfano, and all the firefighters and police officers that were on motorcycles and cruisers out there directing traffic and doing what needed to be done to keep everybody safe. So thank you. I know it was a lot of fun. Santa had a lot of fun. Santa's definitely going to need some sleep after that, but he's
not done yet, right? He's got,
he's big
work to
days
do coming up.
he has-
Big day next
oh my
week.
gosh, you know, I'm his representative for around here, and he said, you know, thanks for all the help, but yeah, he's got a lot to do. You know, Ashland's growing leaps and bounds, and a lot of new houses in town, so he's going to be in town a little bit longer than he anticipated, so that's okay too. I just hope he doesn't forget town hall.
There we go.
And I know Jen's going to get new ski boots and snowshoes for Winnipesaukee up there, so she can have fun. And Mark, you're going to get another 5 to 10 years taken off your life, so you'll be young again and have a good time. And that's about it. So I just want to say happy holidays to all of you. We have a Ashland Affordable Housing Trust meeting tomorrow. Thank God it's virtual. And I know that they're going to be making suggestions as to who they want to promote to put on. Now there's 3, and I know that there's a question whether or not this board wants to, you know, raise the number from 5 to 7. And I did provide them some information about the Affordable Housing Commission, and hopefully somebody would be interested in that and take part in that, because they are looking for volunteers as well. So hopefully.
You mean the housing trust, Ashland Housing?
Yes, the Ashland Housing.
Ashland Housing. Okay, good. So you'll keep us posted on that.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Okay.
I should know by tomorrow afternoon, and if not, I'll shoot you an email, Yolanda, with respect to who and what, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
So, but thank you very much, and I'm sorry that we can't have a get together, but cheers to you all, and stay healthy, and happy holidays.
Well
Thank
done.
you, Joe.
Joe. Well done.
Rob?
Sure. No, thank you, Madam Chair. So first, I just want to say congratulations to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for their electoral college victory, which was ratified, I think, yesterday or the day before. And it was also, I think, a victory for American democracy. So I'm glad that's all, I believe it's all resolved, and we have a new president coming in on January 23rd or whenever. So I just wanted to note that. And Michael, just a question about, do we have Solar Winds as our IT platform? Is that something that we, speaking of internet, no, that's good.
Oh,
I guess it's good. I mean, my company has it, but we don't have to worry because we have a legacy version. I said, oh, great, thanks. You gave us the old fashioned one. Okay, good, thanks. But
I
anyway,
don't know. Solar winds might be better than what we have sometimes.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's
know
a huge thing going on right now. The U.S. government is
Well,
dealing with it.
I'd say if they had Paul, it would be all fixed. So
Yeah. No, good. Something to look into. I did have just two quick reports, one from the MBTA Advisory Board and the other from the MMA Policy Committee, which I attended last week. So I sent you folks the stuff about the Advisory Committee and their recommendations. And since then, the Financial Management Control Board of the T has signed off on the T's plan, but they did make some changes. Basically, it's not going to be as extensive as the original recommendation, which I think is a partial victory. So in terms of our commuter rail impact, they're still going to continue some sort of weekend schedule. It's not clear what. I believe they are probably not going to continue late night after 9 o'clock. I think they're going to cut that out. They are reducing 5 stations, but not on our line. So really, I think in terms of the overall impact, they're cutting back, but not as much based on the public comments and recommendations that they received, including the advisory committee. So I think that's good. They're going to be making prudent cutbacks and service cuts, but we're still going to see continuation of commuter rail and weekend service, which I think is good. And we'll see how they're going to continue to evaluate things in the coming months and what's happening financially and with ridership. And none of us really, I think, know what's going to happen in the short or the long term.
It was a little disconcerting to see that they actually had to reduce their schedules this week because of staffing issues.
And that was
the COVID staffing issues.
You know, I got those texts on my phone. That's all I ever heard about it. Do you know
there was an
background?
article, basically they had too many staff that were sick and or issues. So they had to reduce trains because of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Secretary
interesting,
Pollack
so.
was on the news earlier.
So
Yeah,
Okay.
is that what happened? Because I was wondering about that. I thought, oh, they're starting to implement cutbacks, but no, this is temporary. So,
yep.
oh well, operational.
Anything
and
else,
the other thing,
Rob?
and the other thing I just wanted to update folks briefly on the policy committee met last week, had an interesting presentation from 2 organizations, the Mass Healthy Aging and a person from Executive Office of Elder Affairs. And it was really all about winter walking for seniors, and Mass DOT has some sort of grant program, which I don't recall the details. I presume it's probably the deadline date has passed. I don't know if we applied or not, but it was just, and I thought of you, Steve, because they actually talked about dementia-free communities program and things like that. But the idea was to have places in every town and city where seniors could safely walk during the winter, whether it's at day or even at night, you know, and snow clearing policies and street lights and things like that, and having downtown events. And I thought of all the things really that we do kind of in line with that, you know, the Illuminate Ashland and all the other events that we do. And so I think they're going to be approaching MMA with this program. Walk Boston is a private group, and they've got some kind of partnership with the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. And some of the comments were, at least mine were, to coordinate with some of the other trail impacts. So for example, we did the River Walk Trail, and we're doing a Mass Trails grant, and we have this multimodal path. So to try to get all those things together, but I think the idea is good to get people, have places where people of all ages, including people with disabilities and seniors, can walk safely during the winter, especially getting out now. You know, getting out doors is probably healthier, cooped up indoors. And so I wanted to just, that was a good, so more to come on that, I think, initiative. I think she talked about going to the MMA, some of the larger bodies with that whole initiative. But I did know that.
I think they actually had a session either last year or the year before at the MMA regarding programs
Yeah.
for seniors, and that was one of them.
Right. And I
It's
think they're
called,
probably going to do that again.
yeah, it's called Healthy Aging Communities.
Yep.
And so there's a number of programs related to getting seniors, much more comfortable and safe environments for getting out and being active. And, probably the best place around our area is probably Cushing Park.
Oh,
because
lovely spot.
they do clean it and it's safe. It's separated from traffic. I go there a lot to walk Otis, but there's tons of seniors there every day. And it's just a tremendous community asset.
And I think, one of the things we want to try to replicate something like that here. And I think we've been making some strides in that direction. If we could have something like downtown around Stone Park, that would be similar. And we have, people that live in that area, so that would be good. So,
Great. Thanks for
so
that.
anyway, I just wanted to wish everybody happy holidays and happy New Year. So
Great.
anyway,
Thank
thank
you,
you
Rob.
all.
Brandy?
Okay, so I just wanted to remind folks that there's going to be a public forum for the Ashland Housing Production Plan and inclusionary zoning, which is going to happen on Tuesday, December 29th at 7 p.m. And we're encouraging folks to, there's going to be we're going to be publicizing the event. You'll have to pre-register to get the Zoom link, but we're encouraging residents to get involved and help us shape Ashland's housing future. And it's really focused on things like, not only increasing housing, but diversity as well and affordability in Ashland, and really kind of setting the opportunities for our community in the future. So again, that's going to be Tuesday, the 29th at 7 p.m. And then the only other thing I have is kind of a little bit on the lighter side. So last year, my fellow board members may remember that my first year on the board, I had put together a poem, which I called Ode to Ashland. So this year, I have an update to Ode to Ashland 2020 edition. So I thought it would be kind of fun to share it with everybody here tonight, since this is really our last meeting before the holidays. So if that's okay with you guys, I will.
That works.
Okay.
Sure.
So 2020, wow, what a year. COVID dominated, still does, we fear. But we adapted, learned to Zoom. I do miss our meetings in the select board room. Schools went remote, mail-in ballots and budget stress, buying hand sanitizer and toilet paper, I confess. Pictures on front steps, taken with care, raising funds for our neighbors and the AEF who is there. 3R program delivering meals to our town, supporting our businesses and giving a helping hand all around. Micro enterprise grants for businesses and CARES funds to help our residents in need, and APS Chromebooks for everyone. Some major accomplishments that came through: discussions on racial equity, UGC, composting, and Trolley Brook 2. A beautiful new bridge over the Riverwalk. It's the jewel of downtown, that's the talk. A dedication of Memorial Drive and remembering how Nyanza impacted so many lives. Businesses pivoted, takeout and outdoor dining was key for their survival and all of our sanity. Drive-by police and fire trucks for kids to celebrate. Virtual dragonfly, the circle of love, and illuminate. Santa flying through town on a boat with police and Ashland Fire. 6 hours of waving holiday wishes to all. Never did he tire. Shows we can still have lots of fun from the comforts of home and with our masks on. 2021, so much to do. A new school, public safety building, downtown, and maybe the mill building too. One more big town meeting to go and a ballot to move these projects forward, as we all know. Maybe progress with the Valentine, possibly a B&B and great things with the barn if the stars align. A vaccine on the horizon, faith and hope we share, that our town social distances until we are there. One thing is for certain, I am grateful for all of you. We fight the good fight in all that we do. And one day soon we will raise a glass and celebrate that COVID has come to pass. Until then, sending wonderful wishes, holiday wishes to you, and more than slightly thankful that this year is finally through.
Very good. Very nice.
Nice job, Brandy.
Nicely done.
Thanks.
A good review of the year in review.
Yeah,
Mm.
it was a year, so.
Yeah.
That should be on WACA. That should be on around the clock.
Yes.
Well done,
I may
Brandy.
have to have you come and read it, Brandy.
Absolutely.
This
Great job, Randy.
Remotely.
Obviously,
Of course, all remote.
an annual tradition now, Brandy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's now a tradition. So that's my holiday wishes to everybody, and
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
be safe, and we'll see each other all in person at some point soon. So
Yep.
Other side.
Great. Thank you.
Great job.
Steve?
Thank you. So just a couple things. First, just wanted to mention Project Beacon, which is the new testing facility that's on Franklin Street in Framingham. And I got tested on Tuesday, got results back 24 hours. Very, very well organized and efficient. You have to register. You have to pick a time slot. The amount of time it took from getting in the queue to the test was 10 minutes. And so if anybody's interested in getting tested, I very much recommend it. I think one of the things that I read, and I believe the governor has talked about this, besides the protocols of masking and distancing and so on, but relatively frequent testing as well. So there's an opportunity there. If anybody's listening, it may take you a couple times on the website to actually get the appointment, but hang in there and it will, you'll be able to. So second is, I just wanted to make note, next Monday is the last senior, I believe it's the last senior lunch, free lunch for the year. For this year, it's a free lunch next Monday to all seniors, sponsored by the Friends of the Council on Aging. So it's a drive-by. It's catered by TJ's. It's a nice, substantial lunch. So if you're listening, that's available. Third, I just want to extend best wishes to our first responders, our frontline healthcare workers, and to the folks at the community center, Joanne Duffy, Cara Terrell, Jennifer Wolfing, Candy Wilson, and all the folks up there that really have done a tremendous amount of work over this holiday season to support the emergency fund and families in need. So I just want to extend best wishes and holiday greetings to all of those people. And then lastly, I just wanted to thank all of you, just thinking about, what each of you do besides just come to a meeting twice a month, and the subcommittees that you're on, and the other activities that you're engaged in, both within government or outside of government. And it's a very impressive portfolio. I don't know if residents really understand all of the things that you are engaged in, and the time and the effort that you put into your passions and promoting our community. And this goes not just for board members. I mean, I'm talking about, Michael and Jen, Susan, Diane, our team here. So I just wanted to extend best wishes to all of you and thank you for being such great colleagues.
Thank you, Steve. Very nicely said.
Right back at you.
Thanks, Steve.
Yes, definitely right back at you.
Echo those, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a few things. Beth Reynolds was nice enough to share with me information about the program called Up Ashland. It started this fall with the Color Up Ashland, where 900 balloons were sold and put out around town on people's mailboxes. And it's all in a fundraiser for the Ashland Emergency Fund. So the Color Up Ashland donated about $1,000 to the Ashland Emergency Fund. Light Up Ashland, 82 luminary kits for a total of about 490 luminary bags. Unfortunately, the date for Light Up Ashland and Illuminate Ashland was not great weather. It was that snowy Saturday on the 5th, but they still were able to raise $565 for the Ashland Emergency Fund. And they'll be doing two more Up Ashland programs. And it's a way to get the community to be involved and sort of celebrate each other and be there in support of each other. And it's an initiative between the town and Blush Bouquets. So there'll be a Spring Up Ashland and a Pop Up Ashland in July. So be on the lookout for that, and certainly think about supporting Blush as you are looking for different gifts. Let's see. With Brandy, I attended the Ashland Business Association's comedy night. It was such a fun event. I think they had about 50 or 60 people there. And I think the hope is that it can be either an annual event or just a fun way to get people together. Both the comedians were really good. So that was nice. And the main comedian, Corey Rodriguez, is an Ashland resident. So that was fun. Let's see. Thank you to everyone who came out and bought a tree at the Ashland Lions lot. We finished with one tiny little tree on Sunday as we closed up the lot. So over 600 trees were sold, and it's really due to the residents of Ashland coming out and supporting the Lions every year. I want to congratulate the Friends of the Ashland Library. I didn't get to stop by, but I saw some great pictures and video of their drive-by book sale.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how imaginative and creative people have become with so many different things in town. I saw the pictures, you know, if you wanted a certain kind of book, you stopped there, and it was just, so congratulations to them. And I hope they do it again in the spring, because I think people need things to read. So then just a reminder for those watching, I want to thank town management and our select board and the moderator and our clerks in looking at moving out the town meeting and the town election. I think these are both items, the public safety building and the Mendez, they both have a lot of good reasons to be moving forward. And I think I really appreciate the work that's been done to look at how we can do these safely. And moving them out, I think, makes sense. And being able to get people a little bit more information as we solidify this, I think will be a good thing. So thank you to everyone involved. And I know we'll be doing more work in relationship to that. So our next meeting will be Monday, December 21st at 1 p.m. via Zoom. And then after that, our next meeting will be January 6th. I too want to thank all of you. I don't have a poem written, Brandy and Steve, you said very well what this board and our town staff accomplish and do. So thank you both for sharing your thoughts. It's an honor to be sitting as chair. I did say to Michael the other day, I don't know why I decided to do it this year, but but I think, you know, we work so well together. So I thank you all for your support. To those who are still celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. If you celebrate Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa. To those who will be celebrating Christmas next week, Merry Christmas. And of course, Happy New Year. It's a blessing and a curse that we are in December already and that the new year is just a few weeks away. It's been quite a ride. It's been quite a year. But I know as a community, we support each other and we try to do what's right and work with each other to make those things happen. So I just want to say one last thing. Please remember to shop local. Get that takeout, go to the local stores, get those small gifts, get gift cards, do what you can to support the businesses here in Ashland, because so many of them support us in regards to sponsorships, donations for all kinds of events. So Saturday should be a nice day. Go check out all the shops in downtown. Go buy your liquor, go buy whatever you need, and keep our small businesses going and help them through this, just as they have always helped our community through so many events. So thank you again. Happy holidays. If I can get a motion to adjourn.
Well said, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, very nice.
Well done. So moved.
Second.
Thank you. To those of you watching, thank you so much. Thank you to the community of Ashland for being there and participating. Stay safe. Try to stay home. If you do need to go out, wear your mask, be social distance. I wish you all a wonderful holiday season, a beautiful new year, and hope that we are all still here come January to work together to keep improving our Ashland community. Thank you all and good night. We'll see you either next Monday or on January 6th. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Jen.